had looked, and basically there are a number of one-dimensional finger joint jigs that are driven by stepper motors. So you say, okay, I want this board to be 10 1/8 inches wide. My blade is 0.998 inches, and I want this many fingers. And you use the stepper motor to drive the jig across, so that when you go through, you cut
Test relay on.
the fingers. With a saw blade, you have kerf, and if you just do one kerf and then a finger and then another kerf, you can make real thin ones. But if you move at a certain distance, you can make whatever finger and width you want, driving the stepper motor. And because blades deflect, you don't cut right next to each other. You cut, and you go back and clean out between the two cuts. And the spaces that you leave, you have to leave room for glue. I mean, that's how fine it's.
Oh, yes.
So there's a number of them that people have built, and I'm just kind of taking the best of what they've got.
And you're just building this so you can assemble this one project?
No, I've already cut the stuff for this one project.
Relay
This
on.
is because I didn't like having to go through and cut 900 finger joints manually.
That would take a long time.
Well, and once you cut them, if they don't fit exactly, then you've got to go back and make adjustments, the thickness of a piece of paper, and cut them again.
You watched that wood shop show that's on?
Roy Underhill,
Yeah, you watched that?
the
You
old
gotta
North
watch
Carolina guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a hoot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Living
number
in
of
the
projects
time
that he has that don't have blood on them is minimal.
Oh, yeah.
He's always cutting himself.
But Roy Underhill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The skill that he has, this is just my philosophy on things.
Test
When
relay
you're
off.
using hand tools, the hand tool is specialized for the job. So you have a bunch of different tools. Whereas if you have a power tool, it's the setup. Every time that you do something else, you have to do a different setup. So if you're looking for repeatability, it's very difficult to find with power tools, because every time you set up, if you're off a few thousandths, stuff doesn't fit. So,
That's why everything's custom. Roy Underhill stuff's all
Yeah.
custom. No, he did have some special purpose
Yeah.
tools.
yeah, but if you look at his, he had an episode on where he was doing window rollers, and he was using a plane that belonged to a slave of Thomas Jefferson's.
Oh, okay.
So it very, it only did one thing. It just cut the profile on that of the windows.
Yeah. He was bad.
So that tool was probably made in the early 1800s.
I don't know.
Do you watch Oak Island?
I've seen Oak Island before, but not a ton.
Some of the property there was owned by a former slave. I think it was a former slave, and ended up being a filthy rich guy.
Yeah.
And bought property on the island. Okay.
Well, Jefferson died in like 1803, so that would have been in the 1790s that tool would have been made.
Test relay off.
I think he died in 1803. It was like 83 when he died.
Did you have any automation technology projects?
That was
this
just,
week? No?
I started
Yeah,
playing
investment.
with my Alexa and doing, because I had my coffee pot and my plug in the kitchen and on the same zone. So they kept turning on and they kept signing them together. So I created a cafe section and I assigned that one plug to cafe. Now it works. They don't mess up with each other.
I just got an email from Vicente. He says he can't be here tonight.
Can't be here tonight.
Okay. What about you, James? You seen anything interesting this week?
Not this week, but I've got something in order that I might bring to show if and when it ever gets here from China.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I mean, it will get here eventually.
Yeah.
I have one thing I forgot. I was reading some scientific thing. There's a wave called LOFAR, all capitalized. They pointed it to the northern spaces. They've discovered 300,000 new galaxies using this LOFAR. LOFAR.
No way. We're the only thing this.
Those are new galaxies. That's not the whole. Those are just shows you how vast the universe is. It just blows my mind.
That's all fake.
All fake.
That's all
Yep.
fake.
Not fake.
We're the only thing inside this computer
That's
running.
right. That's right. It's fake. Fake. Yeah. You saw that spaceship they said went out to the outer reaches.
Yeah.
That's fake.
So you got any new topics in automation technology this week for you?
Fake.
Fake is all fake.
It's all fake.
Alexa is all fake.
It's all fake.
It's all
Everything's
fake.
It's just give it up. It's all
Yeah.
fake. What are we doing here
It's
anyway?
a lot easier.
Why are we here?
Because it's fake.
That goes back
It's
to
like who?
what,
It's like
300,000.
it's like
300 new galaxies.
Yeah, why are
Who
we
messed,
here?
who
Why are
messed-
we here?
Who messed in my Wheaties this morning, huh? Oh, Jim, you asked a question, didn't you? I have
Yes.
nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
We've
Okay,
got
well,
an
I do.
update for you. I don't.
He's got something.
I got something. Let me show you. I have a new robot,
Wow.
He has a new robot.
and there it is.
The cat? Oh,
Cat
that's
feeder.
nice. You got a cat,
Cat robot.
Yeah. Oh, you got a feeder?
Yeah, I got an
Weren't you
automatic
working on
feeder.
one for your son, engineering your own self? Your son
No.
for your son's cats?
No, son doesn't have cats.
Oh, I-
43
I
bucks. Isn't that
misunderstood.
crazy? For only 43 bucks.
Well, wait until he selects it and sees what it actually is. Is it really $43?
This one was actually. Oh, I didn't buy this one. This is just one that's the same as the one I bought. I paid $38 for mine.
Little cheaper.
I can't afford that kind of money.
That's,
An extra $5 it kills
wow. Yeah, really. That's
Select plug type, so I guess it's got universal. You got the EU plugs or the European plugs. Or
It's got actually it's a USB adapter is all it is.
so is that is a camera in there too? Is that a camera?
It actually has a microphone and a speaker,
Without no camera.
and you record the message you want them to hear at feeding time.
Oh, you can sing to them.
Yeah. Except one of my cats is deaf, but that's another story. So it feeds 4 times a day, and will feed up to it has a feed portion of 1 to 49.
Oh,
it
so it's
goes-
not really remote. You program with that little touch panel there.
Yep. It's got 4 feeding times and 40 different portions. And it has a microphone and a speaker, so you can call the kitties
Oh,
or
you can.
dogs or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
are they going to listen to you? You know how cats are.
Cats
They're on
catch
their-
a no.
They're on their own schedule.
That's a given. Well, if you whistle, cats can identify, associate stuff. If it's directly associated with food, cats can
Yeah.
might be able to do that.
That's that. He's
Well,
put
that-
food in there.
my-
And don't make
Yes,
it 2 different things.
Yeah,
It's got to be
it's gotta
one.
I can
Well,
see
the
that.
cat
If my mom has
associates
12
that
cats,
whistling
and
with their
if there's
staff.
food,
Pavlovian.
they're right there. But otherwise,
Yeah. Who are you?
yeah,
That's right.
they don't want anything to do with people.
That's right.
Call
You
the
got
cat by
food?
name. You're wasting your
Yeah.
time.
I like to
You got
say-
food? We're right
say
here.
Yeah.
Give us food.
Dogs have owners, cats have staff.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
You open the door, it's freezing. I may come in, I may not. I slam the door and come back 5 minutes later.
So this one has, if you unplug it, it has a USB cable to it. Okay, and a USB adapter, power adapter, comes with it, and it's with a shielded cable going to it, so it runs off that. And it also has, and if you unplug it, it forgets everything. It also has 3D batteries in the bottom of it.
Oh, is that the backup? So if you unplug it, you're okay?
Well, I think so, but there's a switch on the bottom. So on all switch, so I suspect they switch you either to battery or to, I think it's supposed to be battery backup, but I'm wondering.
That's these prices are crazy though. It's pretty good though.
It is pretty nice, and you can select up to 4 different meals on off
So when
at 4 different times.
when the food's in the silos, it kind of air sealed so it doesn't get stale so quickly.
Well, what you do is you feed them regularly, so
Yeah.
the food's in the top.
Yeah.
So when you feed them, the food should go bye-bye. Should be in
And
there.
then it drops down on the next time, so it gives them so much.
You give them a portion.
So in
It's
food, that
fresh
food that
every-
lays out, in that silo, it's kind of won't go stale as quick.
It's kind of closed though, isn't it?
It's
No,
closed,
It's closed
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So
It should keep it semi-fresh.
So it drops down. There's like a little chute. It comes
Yeah,
out
that
the
little
bottom.
blue chute right up above the dish.
Okay, gotcha.
Is
There's
that-
a little blue chute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that animals dragging dead birds home aren't really too particularly right to eat.
No, but it comes when dry food they get finicky after.
They do, and they like the
A
fresh
little
stuff.
cat, you got to use little cans or little tear envelopes because they get real particular.
Obviously, they
Well,
don't
that must be the reason I don't have cats.
Yeah.
Because they like you don't want it. It's like it's on there.
That's why you
Even
want a
like-
barn cat. Okay,
You know, you-
Mimi, which was she's feral when we got that means
Oh.
wild.
Yeah.
When we got her, I don't think she cares. She go outside and catch her a vole.
Yeah.
Let me go.
She's
and
a
I'll-
barn cat.
Yeah. Well, she's wild, and she loves to go outside. She used to. She's getting up to 100 cat years now.
Oh, is she?
And they got $50 on her nose if she's to outlive me. But I don't know what that's all about. That cat's gonna outlive everybody.
We had a dog about the size of that cat, and it came in one day. It's like running in, and it had a frozen bird in its
Yeah.
mouth. I said, "Get that!"
I would've brought in
They
a
kill a vole and they
chipmunk.
bring it into you,
Yeah.
and they're so proud.
Yeah.
I brought in a chipmunk and
They're
let
proud.
it go in the house.
Well, the chipmunk was playing dead.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Huh? How long did it take to get that out of there?
That reminds me of Christmas
Yeah,
vacation.
a couple of
when that
minutes.
Oh, it went
squirrel
back
Open
went
the
in
door
house.
And it went.
Yeah, we eventually chased it out.
Oh shoot! Luckily, it didn't go like to the bedroom and sit in the bed. Okay.
No, a squirrel is a rat with a fuzzy tail. They're cousins.
Exactly.
That squirrel goes right through your neck.
Yeah.
The set and the
Yeah. What was that movie?
family Christmas Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
So
Christmas.
about 20 years ago, in the middle of the night, I'm laying there in bed and I hear the sound. And I look up and I can tell there is something in the attic. So I put on clothes and throw the ladder up against the side of the house and look in the louvers at the end. And as I'm up there looking in there with the flashlight, this little voice says, if they come out of that louver, you're gonna fall off this ladder and break something, and nobody will find you until morning. So I shined the light in there, and sure enough, there's a couple of beady eyes. The little
Raccoons.
Nah, it's
Oh,
a squirrel.
It's not raccoons.
So I get down off the ladder before this thing decides to climb out on me. And as soon as I was assured that it was out of the attic, then I put up a barrier to keep it from getting back in there. But the idea never dawned on me that this is really stupid, getting up on the aluminum ladder in the middle of the winter,
Yeah.
middle of the night.
Jumps out.
Okay, Leroy. Looks like you want the floor. It's carpeted.
So you've got it working and everything. It works.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a little. I hadn't figured out how to set the times on the 4 different times, but I feel assured that you can set the times. I've recorded my calling for food announcement.
So you have one cat and one machine, or you got
We have
multiple
3 cats.
Okay.
They're different feeding times. They'll give the cats
Yeah.
the schedule.
Here's the schedule.
That's right.
The big alpha cat says, "I eat when I want."
It blew up, but hopefully you're still connected.
Oh, I blew it up
Oh, okay.
because I guess I'm doing stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if this is going to work because I just tried it and it seemed like it was really, really slow. It worked once.
Oh, the
It
secretary
worked
was
once?
together
Yeah,
and
it
then
worked
he's not here.
Should have recorded it.
Yeah, really.
No, it worked once down here. It works at home, no problem. Last week, Marcus did a pretty good presentation on how to program Alexa with your own skills. So here's the Google Home.
Here's the Google Home version of it.
Here's the Google Home version of it. Basically, it's pretty simple. You use if this then that website. You set up a you set it up with access to your Google account, your Google Assistant account, and then you can use webhooks to do
Right.
other stuff. So
Can you make that big?
I'm working on it.
He's gonna bring the documents up. Come on, Mike, give him a break, man. Jeez.
I don't know if
Well,
I
that's
can,
good.
I don't know if I can make that any bigger, but
No, that's plenty.
I probably could. There is a plus sign right there. So there's like probably 1,000 different tutorials on how to do this, and for whatever reason, none of them use the little $sign, which is it's a variable that you can say. So relay would be the trigger, and then whatever I say next would be on, off, status.
Man.
That would fall into the $sign value. And I actually don't understand why people don't use that, because people seem to set up like multiple scenarios to do like 3 different things
Right.
when
Instead
they
of
could
using-
set up
Right.
one. So next you tell it what you want your response, what you want Amazon or Google Home to say. So mine's simple, it just says relay and whatever I said, so it basically parrots back what I've said to it.
Do you have to call it Google Home, or can you say Google, or?
I say okay Google,
Okay.
and then relay and whatever. So the easiest way to do this is to use a third-party thing that supports like the Arduinos and other microcontrollers. And I use a service called Dweet, which it's not MQTT. I could use MQTT. And up until recently, MQTT was a little bit harder to set up through if this and that. But so I started using this Dweet just for that purpose. Dweet has a couple of things. It's a public deal, so pretty much everybody could look at the stream. So you don't want to use this to like open your garage door or something.
Right. Yeah.
I know. The thing name, that's changeable, and see where it says text field right here? That is basically the $sign. So you add an ingredient, of a text field, and now it's going to send my command to Dweet in my ESP8266 is just listening for the Dweet. It's got a little program on it that's looking for on, off, or status. And that's the 3 things that I wanted to do. And that's it.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Dweep.
Dweet.
Dweet.
DWEET.io.
It's like sweet without
Um,
the S out, put the D in.
You do not need an account to use Dweet. As I said, it is everybody can pretty much look at the stream though, so you don't really want to use it for anything important. I've used it a couple of times in here though. You can that thing where it says my thing name, you can change that, and you can make it. You could try to make it as unique as you can, but it's still public, and you can still see it. So,
Can you use this for other smart speakers, or is it just
as long as they support
okay?
if this and that, then yeah. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Day before, I came across something called Shifter.io. When I came across this, all of a sudden I went, oh, boom. This is MQTT, only they give a webhook that you can just hook right into it. So I can replace the Dweet with,
Did you just stumble upon this?
yeah, more or less.
Wow.
My random daily crapola of searching for crap on the internet.
I can't even find stuff I'm looking for.
Let alone.
Well, that's what you do. It's like you're looking through the dictionary, right? You just what's that?
Yeah.
And then you forget what you actually was doing before you
Eureka.
started doing that.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's
like-
like, oh god.
This is basically is set up exactly the same way, except with Shifter.io, and it's more secure because they actually assign you a token and a password, and you can set it. It works just exactly like MQTT. You can send messages through an MQTT broker and everything, but that's the web interface to it, and I was like, finally somebody made an easy to do dealy bob. But I that's as far as I got. I didn't actually program these. These things are still using Dweet. So
Well, I'm trying to think. We were about a year ago. We were talking about a water alarm, and that water alarm had to have an interface to cell phone type SIM card in order to contact. Is there any way that this has the ability to go through the web and use a web number, so you wouldn't have to have a SIM service?
So you like email you or something?
Well,
Call you?
So
I got a Google number.
so if I go and I want to create a new applet, for instance, and I don't know. Let's just go ahead with. Actually, I'm going to switch this off for a second. Hang on, give me a second. I'm gonna flip that over there. And I go Google.
This is part of Shifter.
No, this is if.
This is if this and that.
Okay.
I'm going to just say a simple phrase, no extra components or whatever. Let's say, text me. And then the response will be, so I just created a trigger. So now if I say, okay Google, text me, I'm going to go and say SMS. And I've already set it up with my mobile number, and I'm going to say, here is your text. Now, again, you could add an ingredient, so that would be like the $ thing. It probably gives you more options. It doesn't give you any more options for the simple thing, but if we added more options to it, there would be more ingredients that I could add down there. So create the action, give it 30 seconds. See, that's why I didn't really want everybody on the internet to see that, because everybody doesn't need to know my phone number. And if we go, text me.
Opening. Text me. Text free. Call free. Second phone number.
No.
You didn't say okay Google first.
Well, I just hit.
Oh,
I
okay.
just hit the button. Apparently, that is text me is apparently already being used or something. Or I didn't save it. Did I destroy it? Looks like I destroyed it. Let's try it again. When I used the back button, I probably
Didn't say.
messed it out. But let's try something else.
I'll block that out of my memory.
Oh, you didn't. Yeah, you
I didn't
hit
push finish. Okay. Send me a text.
Sending you a text.
And I just have a text. It's on mute, but I got a text. Trust me, I got a text.
Very simple.
Yeah, so you could set that up for with the Google Assistant, where it would say, instead of simple phrase with text ingredient, simple phrase with a number, or a simple phrase with both text and a number. Now, for something like what you're talking about, where it's a sensor sending information, you probably wouldn't use Google Home because you actually have to talk to Google Home.
Well, Frank, the way Frank had his set up was he used a Arduino, I think. I don't think it was a Raspberry.
Yeah.
And a moisture sensor, and it tripped an alarm.
Right.
And based on that,
Send it.
he sent a message through a short message, but he had to have a SIM
Yeah.
that was active all the time. And so I was just thinking, I really don't want to have 1,000 gallons of water in my basement again.
Well, I'm using for the trigger. I'm using Google Assistant, but the trigger could be any number of things. It could be a web event, so you could actually have a web event where your microcontroller sends something up to Dweet. Dweet comes back, triggers this, and texts you.
Okay.
And the whole thing should happen fairly quickly.
And I know back when I was playing around with the particle early days,
They
few
had
years
something
ago,
similar to
yeah,
that.
and they would connect right into, so I could skip the dweeb and go right into if then that. I could go. They say ifs now. I think they say it. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I F T T.
Yeah, so they just say ifs.
T.
But you can, yeah, so you can take a microcontroller and actually do, what Leroy showed us, like called a webhook. It's stuff all over, and you can hook into that webhook to get it out to the internet and connect to this, and it has all kind of functionality.
Usually, your webhooks are going to be like a third party, like Dweet or Shifter or Particle or somewhere. There's going to be a third party that you connect to, but you use a webhook as your trigger.
Okay, now, you have to appreciate the fact that I'm operating on satellite delay here. Between when you're telling me and when it sinks into my consciousness of what it is you're telling me.
So, I mean,
He's working on it.
yeah, it actually just happens that I'm actually working with a moisture sensor right now.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
this is direct.
So so when I get to a point, I'll bring something. For you.
Yeah, it's dirt simple. All the ingredients that are up here, this one's pretty useless because it really doesn't do anything. But they call these, when you create this, that is your trigger. And there are literally
Zillions.
zillions
It's
of
unbelievable.
services that you could hook into.
Okay.
I mean,
If you're just looking for an alarm, like my security system has manual inputs. Okay,
Look at all that.
And it's battery backup and all that stuff if you need battery backup. And it just uses SMS with battery backup. It's a phone.
yeah, but you've got a SIM card in you. He's
Yeah.
he's talking
Yeah,
about
we
getting
use a
rid of
SIM
the
card.
SIM
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
So you wanted to notify you even if you're not home. That's what you're getting at, right?
'Cause right now I have an alarm
Right.
and a remote siren, if you will, so that if I'm asleep in the middle of the night and the sump overflows, I know that. I'm not concerned about what happens when I'm there. I'm concerned about what happens when
Did-
someplace else.
The benefit of having a SIM card, a system with a SIM card, if the internet goes down for whatever reason, you'll still get notified.
Yeah.
Or if the power goes off.
Or, well,
And
as
not-
long as you've got it on battery backup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flood too.
The
and
security
But-
system.
But this will work as long as you've got a reliable internet connection and the power's still good. So,
Well, I can't plan for all eventualities. I think I have to plan for what's going to occur 99.9.
but so I mean, both options have value. The SIM card, if the internet goes down or if the power gets cut or whatever, you still can get notified. But I mean, literally, there are thousands of different hooks that you could hook into, but these are all third-party apps that connect to if this then that.
I have a smoke detector too.
And then
connected to the security.
on that side of it, there are also hundreds of services that you can connect to. Just so happens that being makers, webhook is going to be the one that gets used the most for.
it's something that you're familiar with.
Well,
It just gives
it's-
you flexibility. It gives you a lot of
it's
flexibility.
the one that lets me make my own device instead of relying on somebody else's device. Because I bet if you really went down through there, I bet you would find somebody that's got a water detector thingy that you can buy and set up to do it. Anyway,
What's the fun in that?
yeah, where's the fun in that? So that was a little. Where did my cursor go? That was a little sidetrack on off topic on topic.
And I apologize for getting you off topic.
That's what we're here for.
It's all right. I'm not mad. This is the relay. This actually works. It was a little slow. Relay on.
Relay on.
Please work. I don't know if it's the library or if it's. Ran less than a minute ago. Test relay on.
Test relay on.
Last run less than a minute ago.
It works. It's not working, but it works.
You want to check now? Do that?
For some, I don't know what's going on. I think
Is
it's.
it plugged in all the way?
I think it's the
Computer?
internet down here. I think we're just too slow.
What port is it?
Relay on. It should be 80.
Relay on should be Haiti.
No. Relay on.
Relay on.
Might be 443.
So is it connecting to the library
It's-
Wi-Fi?
Yeah. And it's connecting to. It should connect to Dweet
Right.
and just sit there and wait for a message to show up. Dweet could be running slow too.
Well,
And
you
that's-
should increment instead of it running 46 times, it should say 47 if it's actually come through.
Oh well,
Probably hasn't refreshed.
Yeah.
that would happen if I.
Yep.
48
Okay.
times. It logged in too.
Well, that's because it heard 80.
Okay.
It works. It really does. I'm just not sure why it doesn't work here. It's the curse of the library. We had talked about last week. You had talked about using a status or trying to update a
Right,
status.
Right.
So I added that in here, but I ran into a problem that could not see a way for me to say something and then Google Assistant get the message and then come back. So I added another device that just says on, off, or whatever. And of course this could be a number of different things, so you could get a status for a number of different devices. I'm not real happy with how it works, but that's a I think it's a limitation of if this and that, not a limitation
Right.
of
Right. And that's always the problem. The more interfaces you have, the more, it gets a little iffy. Because what I was, and I've actually started to think about that is that if I say, for example, I'm going to bed and I say, okay, give me the status of downstairs, and basically it has to go out. It can actually, I can program it to go out and read MQTT statuses, which is actually in just basically a JSON file. We always talk about JSON files. It's just a text file. It's basically a text file. Yeah. On. Okay.
So, see, I think this is working because the status actually comes from here, not from there. So, for whatever reason, it's just not showing this stupid little red light.
Does it update when you say off?
Maybe. Relay off.
Relay off.
It hasn't. Somewhere or another, it got it. It got the on command now. But I could also say relay status and have it if I turn this off. One of the interesting things about Dweet is they don't get rid of the messages right away. The messages sit for like 24 hours. So whatever the last message is, if we lost power on this, it would bring it back up to the last state.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be a good thing.
I know. MQTT does that, and then it's like, oh, did I really want that?
That shifter
Yeah.
doesn't hold the state.
Right.
Once the message is gone,
Yeah.
it's gone. It's done. And half dozen one way or the other. But then we talked about, or you talked about having a help.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
Menu. Now for help, I did actually have to create another trigger. And because I was using the word relay already,
Right.
I had to change my phrasing a little bit.
So you just say help relay or
Help relay.
that makes sense.
You can say on off or status.
So, or I have an option right here of also saying, well,
What can I say relay? Yep.
what can I say relay?
You can say on off or status.
So, there are a few options. You can also set up optional phrasing for like the relay or whatever. So if you didn't want to call it relay, if you wanted to call it bedroom light or whatever.
Right.
But to do, I kind of sort of tricked if this and that, because you always need a that. Okay? So I'm just using a simple phrase and just having Google say a phrase back to me. So for that part, I chose make a webhook, but I chose to just send it nowhere. And if this then that didn't seem to care about that, and all it does in the error log, it just shows that it's an error. But
Yeah.
who cares? So with a little creative thinking, you can get around some of the weird funkiness. Now, if I could have sent a message back from the relay and had Google say that message, then I could have done it a whole entirely different way. But that was my solution for getting help. So all I have to do is remember what my help phrase is. And that's it. I wish this worked.
So on Google's, if there's no like, is it all sort of WYSIWYG like that? That you have these little panels that you go into, and it's like like code behind it. You can go in and program like a
They have
command line or something like that. Or use a different programming language. I should say.
Is it up here? They do have an API.
Okay.
I find the API just to be confusing as all hell. And they rate limit some of the API, and then they charge for part of the API. It's just easier just to set up some simple stuff. The API is pretty powerful though. They remember those Google Voice kits that they were selling down at. You use the API for that, and for that they changed the pricing structure a little bit. So you have to make like 10 million calls or something to get charged. But
I think AWS has it so that's Amazon's Web Services. They have it so that you can stay on the free tier, and I think you can get it's 10,000 messages or something like that a month or something.
But half, see, it's not even pulling the APIs up. But half of their APIs they charge for now, and half of them still have a free tier, and it's just when they did that, it just kind of went.
Yeah, it always makes you want to walk away when it starts getting so complicated that you got to spend so much time trying to figure out. Okay, do I need to do this? Do I do this? It's like you just have a free tier, and
especially when there's something maybe a little limited, but it's easy to use. Because honestly, I think through the API I could do exactly what.
I agree.
Yeah. But I'm not.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
I'm not going to sit there and screw around. And of course, I could use a Raspberry Pi.
Right.
And on the Raspberry Pi, I could program that thing to do whatever. Because I've already got a thingamabob going on there. But I wanted to. That's that $3 relay.
Oh, yeah. The little.
Can you see what?
Voice thing.
So that relay still needs to get 5-volt power, plus be plugged in, plus have something plugged into it, and of course the stupid little terminals are not big enough to actually plug good wire or decent wire in, because this is a $1 extension cord, and that stupid little module right there, the one they sent me was the original model, the 01. This is an 01S. This stupid relay will only work with the 01S, which was another $3.
That's weird.
So it's basically running the exact same. It's running a slightly older version of the same code that's on here. It doesn't have status updates. Basically, that's really the only difference. And if we want to see my code, we can see my code, because I have my code. If we really want to see my code, wherever my code went. Oh, that's right, because I wrote it in Linux. Let's. Where's my thing? there's a library available for the Arduino. It's a Dweet library. I don't know where the IDE went. It just sort of disappeared.
This is sort of like 7th grade. I'm going to have to sit closer to the blackboard because I can't see it.
Yeah, it's when I started having to get glasses.
I don't think I can make that bigger.
When someone would erase the board, it would be cloudy, and I couldn't pick it because the boards need to be washed.
I don't think I can make that any bigger.
Control Plus won't do it.
No.
That's when you get your magnifier on your phone. And
Yeah.
Yes. I always thought that the optometrist was really stupid because he says, you know, these glasses are expensive. Your parents shouldn't have to buy them if you're not going to wear them. I'm thinking, well, I want to be able to see. Who wouldn't wear them?
So we do it like this.
Jeez, Google made that screen bigger.
Thank you. I can read that.
So, like most of my code, I try to include where I get the stuff from so it's easier for me to find it later.
Yeah.
The relay pin, so this relay board uses pin 0. This relay board uses pin 1. Not a big deal, but working between the two, I just found it easier just to go ahead and throw that up there so I could change it easily. There's the thing name, which you would change if you, because my thing name is used in their example code for everything, so obviously that's not going to be secure on any level, so you're going to want to change that. Then we sit and, well, we set up the Wi-Fi client, then we sit and wait for a second, so every second it goes off and it checks Tweet, because Tweet has a rate limit. It's a free service, but they do have a rate limit of about once a second, so you don't want to overload their servers. And actually sometimes you still get a message that you've gone over the rate limit. You just wait another second and you're good. But basically when it sends a message back to the device, it's sending it as a JSON string. You're familiar with JSON. So it's not, for whatever reason, the Arduino JSON library does not like the string that it sends back. It's almost like it's dropped a character or it's changed a character somewhere. So I figured out what character was causing the problem and changed it back so that it actually can decode the string. That was fun. That was fun to figure out. But basically, we're getting a string, a JSON string, which is a pair. It's we're looking for the word relay, and then our command would be on, off, or status. And that's returned right here in the mode, and up here in the loop we go ahead and we look and we say if mode equals off, set the relay pin low. I mean, super simple. And then we send a tweet back that says our status is off, and that should change that display to say off. And the same for on. If we get an on command, only it will change the status to on instead of.
And then acknowledge.
And then if for whatever reason we turn this off and we don't know the status, we could ask it what the status is, and then it just does a digital read of the pin and goes, this is it's either on or off. I mean, it's a relay. It can't be. There's not a whole lot
Diversity.
But that's. I mean, it's actually pretty simple code. And the libraries make it really, really simple.
Nice.
Marcus is. I can see the wheels turning.
That works. That's pretty good. That's nice. That's nice.
Come on, internet. The status display is pretty much the same thing, only instead of looking for relay, we're looking for status, and we're our thing. I see with the status, I changed our thing name from my thing name to relay status. So added the OLED code, but that's really about it. Every minute or every second, it goes and it asks tweet if anything's changed, and then it just says, boop, display. Again, because the JSON string that comes back is not friendly for whatever reason.
Is it always the same position in the string? It's
for something simple like this, yes. But if you're going to add more, you can add more contents to it, so they may be in a slightly different spot. So if we had status and control, for instance, it would also be with context, but instead of status, it would be control.
You got that JSON string there that you can show? Is it on there that show them that the levels?
Well,
if you don't worry about it, it's fine. Just thought it'd be a good idea to show that. Okay, this is not. Yeah, there. That's it. With thing. Yeah.
yeah. See, I personally think that they kind of overcomplicate it by building, because it always sends back this succeeded by tweeting the tweet with why we just need thing created. I don't even use created, but you could. Content, hello. So your content would be hello world and foobar. So the position could be slightly different.
So how did you figure out what?
I actually ended up sticking. I printed the string out in the serial console that was getting sent back to me, and I went to a JSON, a website that could decode JSON, and it told me what the problem was.
Well, where it was, but not why it was.
Right. It told me where it was. So I had a clue about what I was looking for, and then it was just a matter of kind of changing a couple of things in there. But yeah, it was kind of a pain because that looks like a valid JSON string. That one decodes. If I go and I stick that one in to that JSON decoder that I use, it'll decode just fine. But the one that was being sent back, I don't know if it dropped something or I don't know. But both of them had exactly the same problem. So
Is it consistent then that once you put a Band-Aid on it, you don't have to pull it off and put it someplace else?
it seems to be. It seems to be consistent. So I'll tell you, the very first thing that I ever used Dweet for, I was having some issues with it. I just started dropping characters. I just told Arduino, just drop these characters, just drop these characters, and then I ended up, but in that case, the thing that I was looking for was always in the exact same spot. This one, in this case, it's not necessarily exactly in the same spot. So, but the error part, the part of the JSON string that seems to be an error always seems to be in the same spot.
Is it sending a wrong character or is it truncating?
It is not truncated because I increased the JSON buffer to some insane number and still had the same problem.
Well, I shouldn't have said truncated, I should have said omitted.
What it looked to me like it added a comma in somewhere, and then instead of one of the curly brackets, it put a bracket instead of the curly bracket. So the if you look at the code, I actually dropped. No, I guess it puts an extra brace, and there shouldn't be a brace there, and then one of the braces should actually be a curly bracket, because that's replaced with nothing basically, so get rid of it, and then replace with a curly bracket. I don't know. Yeah, you look puzzled too.
Are those brackets even valid in JSON?
Yeah, I think it's for array. It's typically for an array.
Yes.
Yeah, it's typically, yeah.
Yeah, you look confused too. It threw me off for a while until I looked at one of the JSON decoders online, and I went, oh. And even then, it threw me off a little bit.
Array or collection, I should probably say. It doesn't have to necessarily be array, but it's more like a collection almost. So you have a possibility of multiple possibilities of a single variable.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm only using one variable, and it thinks I want more than one.
That may be true.
So maybe if we add more than one variable in there, the whole thing's going to crash and burn.
Okay, yeah, square brackets, whole arrays.
Yeah.
But that fixed it.
That's how it goes, isn't it? It's supposed to work, you know.
This Arduino JSON library is a little picky about some stuff anyway. I'm not sure that, I don't know if the library itself doesn't like the brackets.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You don't know. You just have to figure out how to way around it and work around it and figure it out. Okay, that'll work. That's the thing, we use libraries now and you assume that they work.
Well, for the most part.
The most part they do. It's just like, but yeah, sometimes they don't.
That's it. That's all I got.
Good deal.
I'm done. I guess.
Good deal.
I think
Okay.
Marcus's was better.
Anybody have anything for next week?
Yeah.
Topic for next week?
Mike's gonna do us. He's gonna do code.
Give me a few more weeks.
Okay.
I want, he
I'm
wants
trying
me
to talk
do a
Mike.
follow up on Alexa.
On
I
Alexa,
will.
yeah, because I mean, they have all these skills that you can just go.
Well,
and
I
start.
figured out, I had the kitchen and the coffee plug in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was turning both of them on, and I'd go, well, I created a zone in the kitchen called Cafe, and I assigned the coffee plug
Cafe.
to that cafe, and it works perfect.
Mike's Cafe.
So I had this.
See that you spend a lot of time on that stuff. If you need to see what you're
Yeah,
doing.
and I did I named the dot in the bedroom Echo, the one in the living room Amazon, and the one in the kitchen is Alexa.
I have not heard back anything on us
Oh, really?
getting to Maker Faire or not, which
Okay.
is kind of weird, but he may be overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff too.
When is that Maker Faire again?
April 13th.
This is the time of year the D-Lug group has an install fest, and usually somewhere on the campus of Sinclair, bring stuff in and they install it. And they sometimes go with a maker group too, which meets off of Harshford Drive, and they do an install fest there too.
I did set up a GitHub repository for Maker Faire related stuff. So any of the demos, if you need to be added to the GitHub or whatever to add the code to the demos or whatever, so we could share the code.
Do you have a new member?
This is my youngest son, Duncan.
Oh, okay.
What else? What else?
He's along because we're going to go see my oldest son for dinner afterwards.
I don't know what else. I'm completely lost.
You've got 4 sons,
I forgot to bring the little buddy talker. I said I would bring you one to play with. I forgot. Just totally slipped my mind when I walked out the door. And
Did you run into anything unique this week? Any subjects to bring up?
Not really. I've just been working, trying to catch up at work mostly. So.
Okay. Steve, you got anything interesting?
No, I hate QuickBooks is all.
Okay.
well, that's a given.
I spent almost 3 hours on the phone with QuickBooks support today.
For taxes, they're
Oh, no.
firing up for taxes.
We have 6 companies using one installation of QuickBooks,
Okay.
which we outgrew. So they decided to go to something really expensive, and they paid for it, and then everybody that was supposed to be using it went, but it's hard. We like QuickBooks. Go back to QuickBooks. And so, okay, we fired it back up, did a Windows update, and it broke. And they're saying, but we've got to put out 1099s tomorrow, make it go.
That was nice of Windows and or QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So if nobody has a topic for next week, we're going to have
Oh,
automatic cat feeder.
Well, what about Vicente?
Yeah, he's following up.
Okay,
on that.
we'll check to see if he's
He
going to be
said
available
he can't
next
make
week.
Well, he
Oh.
said in his email he said he just had the flu, so hopefully it's not a
Don't forget about the trash can
very long
transfer.
flu.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Or we won't forget about the Alexa.
Alexa.
Touche.
Yeah.
Could bring
I will have something. I'll contribute one of these days.
So
could bring. I don't know. I've got like 9 different projects sitting on the workbench now. I could bring something. There could be something.
Well, you know what you're facing if you don't bring something. Just saying.
a riot.
It's going to be the automatic cat feeder.
Automated
No,
cat-
automatic cat feeder.
Well, Jim, are you using hub motors in any of your projects? How's that coming along?
The cat feet.
I hadn't been doing anything. I actually brought my robot out the other day and charged the batteries. That's my report for this week. But yeah, we had used the little wheel motors.
Yeah.
Yeah, hub motors.
What size do you have?
What were they? 9-inch? Nobody's
I
here.
thought they were
they were-
10s.
10, 9. It's about that big. They're small. They're the tilt the little wheels that people stand on and tilt forward and backwards.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
the sideways?
Hoverboard.
Hoverboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that you are your wheels part of a hoverboard? Or-
No, it's they actually make little driver boards for them. Little, and so you send a 0 to 5 volt signal, and it'll change the speed. It also has a direction too, but the boards are like $10 or $15. If you look in my folder on the meeting announcement, you'll see everything you ever wanted to know about it and much more. Where I got the boards, what they looked like, and
So the boards that you got to control the motor,
Yeah.
do you need 2 of them, one for each motor?
Yep.
Is that what you do?
Yep.
And they're how much? $10?
10 or $15 a
Yeah.
piece. Make sure you get the ones with the that have the encoder, that have the Hall effect sensors, feedbacks.
Feedback. Okay.
Yeah, they do sell some without,
Okay.
and they're pretty simple, straightforward. And I've got the wiring for them. The wiring's online. Just do hoverboard driver boards, and you'll find them on eBay. You'll find articles on them, and people that are driving them using Arduinos, and it's really pretty simple. Vicente found some hoverboard motors that come with a hoverboard controller, but I think there's a little more to it than he expected. This, I could do it, you can do it. It's dumb. If you need any, if you have any questions about it, just look in my folder, you'll see there's a whole section on it.
So what do the 10-inch wheels, motors cost, roughly?
They were, what, 2 for $40, or did I buy?
I think they were 2 for 40 or 45, something like that.
And they're all from China, I guess.
Yeah.
And then-
You'll find there, when we were looking for them, there weren't that many. I noticed there are quite a few of them in there now. Find hoverboard motors for them if you would.
I'm trying.
Leroy can do it.
Or hub motors, is that what when you buy them separately?
See if I can find
But
that.
yeah, they're relatively cheap. I'm sure they're getting cheaper. The only problem I had is the ones that had the sensor elements on it didn't have the heat sinks with them. If you have heat sinks and you know how to do tab heat sinks,
Okay.
you'll probably be okay. You need the, you probably need the paste and maybe the silicone, what do they call them? The clear Bakelite insulator material. You'll need that if they. I found one that was with it, but it turned out that the ones that had the heat sinks on it were the ones without the sensors.
Okay.
Okay, so those are $30.
Yeah.
They're all 6.5-inch ones.
Yeah, they're all the small ones.
Yeah, those are. I think it's the small ones. Those are the small ones. I got the 6.5-inch ones.
Oh, is that what you got?
I
Yeah.
think yours were bigger than that.
Vicente wanted the 10-inch.
Yours are heavy. Are you
Yeah,
sure?
they're not light. No,
Are
I
you
thought
sure
you
it's
said
just-
yours were 9.
no,
No, they're not.
no. They're the ones you're seeing there.
Okay.
The small ones.
Those are heavy though.
They are heavy.
Well,
The ones without the sensor feedback, the Hall effect feedback, they don't have no torque. None.
So you need the Hall effect and
Yep.
there's that one.
What if you type in 10-inch up there?
I don't know.
Sorry. Especially when you're doing something.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You're looking
Much more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, motor scooter. Okay, that would be better. You'd probably get much more torque out of those puppies.
Yeah.
Oh, you're probably right then, because I know you didn't spend no $50 on
Yeah,
no
you know
motor.
me pretty good.
Man.
But plus the shipping.
Plus the shipping. Oh!
Sort by price there. Help us out here.
Look there.
Somebody's going to have a heart attack back here. I'm just saying.
Oh,
That's right. The wheel costs 1 cent, but the shipping's $200.
That one was pre-owned, that cheap one. Okay.
Yeah, from Canada.
Canada.
Oh, that's
From Lithuania.
that was to bid on. Okay.
Shipping
Mine
is,
was,
shipping's only $120 to $17 from Lithuania.
It'd be cheaper just to buy the whole hoverboard,
Dave?
tear it apart.
Yeah.
But you'd have to use your own controllers, and I don't know. The controllers that come with them are definitely odd, based on what Vicente said.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's all integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them have. I've seen somebody hack them where there's a serial interface that you can get at and send commands to the motor controller.
But you're saying there's something about the code that you send to them is not standard.
Well, for one thing, it's integrated with the accelerometers that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to either somehow need to coexist with this accelerometer or bypass it or some of that, I think.
Yeah. Even searching for just hub.
Ooh, look at $20 shipping. They want shipping. Well, based on the weight of those 6.5-inch wheels, they're
Pretty
probably
heavy.
30 pounds
Yeah.
shipping on the dang things.
Yeah, they're not lightweight, that's for sure.
Yeah. Searching for even hub wheels just doesn't.
Free shipping for $75.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yes, but if you can get it for $55, why would you pay
Why would you buy
$70?
$75? Which they're just loading the price to cover the shipping.
That looks good. Where are you? Are you going to AliExpress? Okay.
I need me a gorgeous wig.
Vicente's been beating Leroy price-wise on some stuff. Leroy hadn't got over it yet.
I get everything. I get everything from there.
All right, so those are the
Yeah.
bicycle wheel type.
You buy AliExpress?
Yeah.
I try to find the cheapest price. 24 volt, 6.5 inch. What do they want for shipping? Depends on.
Yeah, 250 watts.
$63.27.
$88.
It's just
Definitely not the cheapest.
Now, what size is that? Like
6.5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
That's where AliExpress gets you. But then you have to select what you want, and then it'll tell you
gotta be careful about that.
that shipping is going to be $70 freaking.
Yeah.
wow.
$57 for shipping.
It's DHL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
get it like in a couple of days, but
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. You want to wait a month? You're good.
So they won't sort
8
with
weeks,
price,
month.
including
I
shipping.
always when I
They don't
order,
include
I write
shipping
down
and
when I
price.
order it and when
They-
it comes in, so I got an
Yeah.
idea of where to go and
Yeah.
what's it going to. Yeah.
Yeah, six days.
It's more expensive to go with standard shipping, and it takes longer.
And it takes
Takes
longer.
longer.
Well, they're giving
one of my
us a break, aren't they? I've actually found a few things on Amazon cheaper, or $1 more than you can get them from China,
That's
but they
right.
show up 2 or 3 days
That's
later.
why I bought
Yeah.
instead of the sawn-off plugs, I bought the Goes Sun because it was a little bit more per unit, but I got them within a few days instead of 8 weeks.
Yeah, you can. I mean, because Amazon sells a lot of stuff that's on
Well,
AliExpress.
the Chinese are
Yeah.
stocking with
Yeah,
Amazon.
exactly. Yeah. So sometimes you can. There you go. It's about a whole board.
He's looking for 10-inch. You got 10-inch on there?
$29, $66.
But if you're a Prime member, which I am,
Seven pack. What the heck is a 7-pack?
just in case you need that extra.
3 boards and a spare.
Fixture not working.
Fix your thing. It does actually kind of sort of look like eBay's probably your best bet, really. Because I saw them on there for what, $30 a piece? So 2 of them for $60 with free shipping, instead of $49 with free shipping for 1. But those are the 6-inch ones too. Those are probably too small for what you want to do.
Well, I want to do some things indoors, so those would be fine for indoors, but I want to do some things outdoors, and that would be bigger.
As I told you before, I've still got a couple of those scooters that you're more than welcome to borrow.
Oh, okay.
Just, you know.
What type are they? Are they?
They're those. You had a pamphlet of them.
Yeah.
They've got the smaller wheels.
Yep. Well, I wasn't thinking of this for the scooters per se. I see some scooters that have 10-inch wheels and 12-inch wheels, and ground clearance that's pretty good, 5-inch ground clearance.
I don't really see tons of 652. I've already got most of my junk put away, so I'm pretty good right now.
Where'd you order those little talker?
Little buddy talker.
Little buddy talkers from? I know they had on a.
It was a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, right? That was a year ago. So I don't know if they were successful or.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Were they?
He actually was a little. Let's see if I can find it. I was going. I think I've got 2 of this. I was going to bring you one so you could play with it.
Yeah, I was looking to see it.
It's engineering shock.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's
On his homepage, he actually has where you can buy them.
What's up? That is pretty expensive.
$25. I think it was a little cheaper when I bought it on Kickstarter, but you know how stuff like that.
Yeah. I may order one. What the heck?
Well, throw that out here. See if anybody else has ideas, because those were my ideas.
I trust you.
Oh no!
Yeah, really. Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, I know your tweet thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I see the library you put together, so I actually had other people comment on it. So.
Yeah, that actually surprised me. I actually had people want to help me build that library.
Yeah, so that's nice.
And
very nice.
That was one of those weird sort of.
Yeah, I just threw it out there, and all of a sudden it blew up. I was like, oh no!
Never would have expected that on something weird. He actually, this guy's name is Patrick Mitchell, Mitchell something. He's from Canada, just kind of north of us. He's not all that far from us, really. But he made a shield called a 100 word
I saw it, yeah.
shield. That was what started the whole thing, and it's based on like a lookup table. I know, 5 minutes. It uses hex to look up the words, and of course people don't think in hex, so I wrote the library for the 100 plus word shield, and then I said,